jeez. Damn! We got an episode coming up for you, so don't you go anywhere, because this is Classified Captures. This video has been making the rounds, and it was captured by a witness just outside Chicago in a wooded area. At first, nothing seems out of place. Then something shifts in the distance, and that's when things start making sense. Take a good look at it. It's actually hard to find the right word for what you're seeing. The shape alone throws you off. It looks like a massive reptilian creature moving away from the camera, walking on what seems to be either 2 or 4 legs. And then there's that long extension trailing behind it like a tail hovering just a few inches above the ground. Whatever this thing is, it's not small. It's enormous. Now here's where things get tricky. The footage was taken through a window and the creature itself was already far off in the distance. When the camera zooms in, the image starts to break apart, becoming blurry and harder to make out. You can see every detail clearly, but at the same time, the overall form is still there, and it's hard to ignore. Reptiles of that size aren't supposed to exist anywhere near the outskirts of Chicago, and yet when you watch it move, nothing about it really suggests a person in a costume either. The proportions feel off. The movement doesn't quite match how a human body would carry itself. And even that tail doesn't behave like something attached to a suit. It just doesn't line up. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Giant reptilian creatures aren't exactly new when it comes to folklore and reported sightings across North America. Stories like this have been circulating for decades. Even the Chicago area itself has a surprising active history when it comes to cryptid reports, including the widely discussed sightings of the Chicago Mothman back in 2017. Which raises a question that's not so easy to brush off. Are we looking at some unknown animal that hasn't been identified yet, or something that was never supposed to be seen at all? You've seen the footage. What do you think is moving through those trees? This footage comes out of Dubai, captured high above the city during what first appears to be a lightning storm. At a glance, it feels familiar. Flashes in the sky, clouds lit up in bursts, nothing out of the ordinary. But the longer you watch it, the harder it becomes to explain. Something about it feels off. Lightning doesn't behave like this. Under normal conditions, it follows a rhythm shaped by atmospheric pressure and electrical charge. There's a pattern to it, even in chaos, and what you're seeing here doesn't quite follow that pattern. The flashes are rapid, almost erratic, and if you look a little closer past the bursts of light and into the sky itself, you'll start to notice something else. There are streaks moving behind the clouds, not just light spreading through them, but something shifting, traveling. That's not something you typically see associated with a natural weather event. It's unsettling to watch. The sky over Dubai that night didn't just look like a storm. It looked like something was happening up there, something the weather alone doesn't seem to explain. And a lot of people have seen this footage and they're arriving at the same conclusion, that this was not natural. Some believe it could be a form of technology interacting with the atmosphere. Whether that's something human-made or something else entirely is where the debate really begins. Others are convinced it looks more like a craft moving behind the cloud cover, with the electrical activity forming around it as it moves. What makes this even more interesting is the location itself. The Middle East includes areas around Dubai and has seen a noticeable rise in UAP reports in recent years. Unexplained aerial activity that, for one reason or another, hasn't received the same level of attention as similar sightings in the West, which makes this footage feel less isolated and a little more connected to something bigger. Now here's the question. Was this simply an unusual storm behaving in a way we don't fully understand yet? Or are we watching something moving through the sky that wasn't supposed to be there? You've seen it for yourself, so what do you think was behind those clouds?
What?
You tell me what you think this is, okay? I mean, that's cool. This is like some huge giant scientists here, or airline pilots, anybody who might have seen this who can give us an explanation of what it is, let us know in the comments. On March the 17th, 2026, a sudden and unexpected power outage swept across large parts of San Diego and Orange County. This was not a small isolated incident. It hit a significant stretch of one of the most densely populated regions in the country, leaving entire areas without power at once. Power was eventually restored, but that was not the part that stayed with people. It was the way it happened. There was no clear immediate explanation, and that alone was enough to leave many unsettled. Now, to be fair, power outages are not uncommon. Grids overload, equipment fails. These are usually straightforward situations, and that's where the conversation normally ends. A technical issue, a routine failure, nothing more. But this time, people are not so quick to accept that. The timing is what keeps coming up again and again. Early 2026 has not exactly been stable, and an unexplained blackout in a major American region during a tense period naturally raises concern. Some believe this could point to directed energy interference, technology capable of disrupting electrical systems remotely, something both government and non-government actors are known to be developing. Others have gone further, suggesting that the pattern of the outage outlines with reports linked to UAP activity, where unexplained aerial phenomena have been associated with sudden failures of electronic systems. Now, whether this is a routine infrastructure issue or something that has not been officially acknowledged, the lack of a clear explanation early on is what continues to stand out. Now, you've heard the details. What do you think caused everything to go dark that night? A security camera positioned over a house near a wooded area captured something that doesn't have an easy explanation. In the footage, you can clearly make out the tail end of a truck sitting on the left side of the frame, with a quiet yard stretching out toward a tree line that leads into the woods beyond. At first, everything looks completely normal. Then within seconds, a flash appears and the truck is simply gone. Not moved, not driven off, gone. Right after that, the entire area is flooded with bright light, almost like broad daylight. But this is happening in the middle of the night. The shift is immediate and unnatural, turning a dark, quiet scene into something that feels completely out of place. And then in the middle of that light, something moves. A hazy figure passes quickly through the tree line. It's not clear, not defined, but it is there, moving with purpose, just long enough to be noticed before everything changes again. Because just as suddenly as it started, it all resets. The light fades, the truck reappears in the exact same spot, the yard returns to normal as if nothing ever happened. The truck disappearing, the sudden daylight, the figure in the woods, and then everything snapping back into place is what makes this so difficult to explain. That exact sequence has led a lot of people who've studied this footage to keep coming back to one word: glitch. As in, reality itself malfunctioning, even if that sounds extreme. Now, to be fair, footage like this can be created. AI is capable of producing scenes that look convincing, and skilled editing can achieve similar effects. And that has to be acknowledged. It's always a possibility. But at the same time, with the number of strange and unexplained clips being captured and even verified in recent years, immediately dismissing everything as a hoax is becoming harder for some people to justify. So, you've seen what happened in that yard. How do you explain something that disappears, rewrites itself, and then returns like nothing ever changed?
There's my truck, right there. And you'll see a light flash and my truck disappears. And then you see something fly over the...
That's like...
Look, and you see it in the trees go down and you see the light. Look, you see the light going over the trees?
It looks like it's sun shining outside.
Yeah, that's what it looks exactly like. And,
What the
and
fuck?
then there's my truck.
That's fucked.
Okay. Let's just watch this.
Get you come on over here, man. If you're up here and anybody hits the back of my patrol car, it's a good chance you're gonna get caught somewhere in between that car and your car. And if you're not caught in between, you may still get struck by one of the vehicles. I don't want that to happen to you.
Damn!
Just like that, see? Just like that.
Oh my God. Now, this is an officer with some heavy forethought, as far as I'm concerned. He knew! Jeez.
Just like that, see? Just like that. Just like that, see? Just like that.
Before you jump to conclusions, no, this is not AI. It might look like something straight out of a digital fantasy world, but what you're seeing is completely real. It's a living creature. Meet the dragon-headed caterpillar. What catches your eye immediately are the four horn-like protrusions on its head, forming an armored crown right where its face should be. It looks far more like a creature from a fantasy film than something you'd expect to find in nature. The dragon-headed caterpillar is native to parts of Asia and represents the larval stage of a moth species. That unusual head structure isn't just for show, it has a very specific purpose. When threatened, the caterpillar can inflate and display its head, making itself appear far more intimidating and dangerous than any caterpillar has a right to look. Those horns and the face-like pattern are evolutionary tools designed to confuse and deter predators from taking a closer look. It's wild to think this is real, isn't it? Nature really does have its own way of surprising us. Some men had wandered into an abandoned building when they stumbled across something that made them freeze. On the upper floor in the corner of a porch crouched an owl. Its neck was stretched downward, its head swinging rhythmically back and forth, and its body held in a posture that looked nothing like what most people picture when they think of an owl. The men were instantly spooked. Their minds raced. Could this be a witch, a shape-shifted creature, or something that had taken on the form of an owl to hide itself? But what you're actually seeing is far more fascinating. This is a barn owl, scientifically known as Tyto alba, performing a behavior called defense displaying or threat posturing. When a barn owl feels cornered or threatened, it spreads its wings, slightly lowers its head, and swings it side to side in that eerie, repetitive motion. The purpose is simple, to make itself look as large, strange, and intimidating as possible in order to drive away whatever is making it uncomfortable. In this case, the presence of the men entering its space triggered that extensive response. Barn owls are extraordinary hunters. Their ears are asymmetrically positioned, giving them the ability to locate prey in complete darkness with pinpoint accuracy. The heart-shaped facial discs work like a satellite disc, funneling sound directly to those ears. Put together, these adaptations make barn owls some of the most precisely engineered predators in the animal kingdom. So no, this is not a witch, but anyone who saw it up close just like these men would understand why exactly it felt terrifying in that moment.
¿Eres una bruja? ¿Eres o no eres? ¿Estás segura que eres o no eres una bruja?
There's a trend going around where people take close-up photographs of their eyes using a flash, capturing every intricate detail of the iris in stunning high resolution. And when done right, it's actually mesmerizing to look at. But a darker twist has emerged. Some are taking these photographs without the flash, and what they're discovering is far stranger. In one particular photograph, when you zoom in on the eye, a face appears to be looking back. Not a reflection of the person taking the picture, but a distinct, recognizable face staring outward from inside the eye itself. The idea that has grown around this trend is unsettling. Taking a photo without a flash can reveal entities or spirits that may be attached to you, essentially turning your own eye into a mirror for something normally invisible. The person who took this photograph found a dark, almost dog-like humanoid face staring back at them from within their own eye. And they're not alone. Others trying the same thing have shared similar images, each showing something completely different looking back at them. Whether this is a genuine paranormal phenomenon, a trick of the light camera processing, or something that perhaps should not be examined too closely, is something only you can decide. Would you dare to look that closely at your own eye? There's a theory that's been circulating for a long time about what really happens when we sleep. The idea is that sleep is not just rest and that our soul actually leaves the body and travels somewhere else. What we experience as dreams are not random images produced by a resting brain, but actual experiences of a part of us temporarily existing outside our physical form. Back in 2010, a woman in England decided to put this idea to the test on camera. For months, she'd been claiming that she was abducted by aliens every single night while she slept, and she finally set up a camera pointing at her bed to prove it. In the footage, she and her husband are asleep. The bed sheet shows the outline of two bodies lying there. Then, within seconds, one of the shapes, hers, flattens completely. She's gone. Her husband remains in place. For a tense moment, it's just the empty shape under the bed, and then, as suddenly as she disappeared, she reappears, shifting back into position as if she'd simply rolled over. Watching the footage is deeply unsettling. There's no clear explanation for how the sheet behaved or for her disappearance, and it circles back to the sleep theory. How many of our wildest, most vivid dreams might actually be memories of something we truly went through, rather than something our minds simply invented. Would you dare to consider that what happens when you sleep might not be entirely up to your imagination? Something strange has been happening in the skies over the United States throughout March 2026, and it's happening with a frequency that's hard to ignore. In just a few days, meteors were spotted over Houston, California, and Ohio on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of March. Multiple events across multiple states in under a week. But it's not just the frequency that has people talking, it's the color. Footage from CCTV cameras and phones across these different locations show the same striking detail. These meteors are green, a vivid, intense green streaks across the sky. Most meteors burn orange, yellow, or white as they enter the atmosphere. The green color comes from the presence of certain minerals like magnesium in the space rock, so it's not impossible naturally. What is raising questions is the consistency. The color is the same across multiple separate events in multiple locations over a short window. That unusual pattern is what the people wondering if something else might be going on. NASA has officially classified these as meteors and has not indicated any cause for concern, and that may well be the full and accurate story. But the sheer frequency and the vivid, repeated green flashes in so many locations in such a short time is making the simple meteor explanation feel incomplete to some. Are these just busy days in space, or could something more be on its way? there was ever footage that made the existence of ghosts genuinely hard to dismiss, well, this might be it. A woman had a sister who passed away. Before she died, her sister made her a very specific promise. She said that if she went first, she would come back and haunt her in the most annoying way possible. After her sister passed, the woman was at home alone with her microwave and dishwasher. Both started beeping at the same time without anyone touching them. She'd never seen the appliance act like that on its own. And when she zoomed in on the microwave display, the number showing was 7777. Something seemed to be pressing the 7 repeatedly. Then when the audio from the video was isolated and amplified, a faint whispered voice could be heard saying the words, "It is I." Of course, there are technical explanations for appliances acting strangely. Electrical surges, faulty panels, and software glitches can all cause unexpected behavior in modern kitchen equipment. That's fair and worth noting. But the combination of events happening simultaneously, the exact number on the display, and that whisper on the isolated audio was a lot of coincidences to occur at the same moment. The woman recognizes exactly who this is and what was promised. So, do you think her sister kept her word?
Here we go. And it'll just keep coming. It'll just keep on coming. Jeanette Elizabeth. Push the number 7 again, damn it.
Someone was visiting a family's beach house when they noticed something moving in the pond on the property and started filming. Whatever is in that water is not easy to identify. It moves like algae drifting or debris caught in a current, except this thing has a definite shape. Some people watching the footage have suggested it could be a toad with a bacterial or fungal infection, which is not as unlikely as it sounds. Amphibians are particularly vulnerable to a disease called chytridiomycosis. I can't even say the word. Chytridiomycosis. I'm guessing that's as close as I'm ever going to get to saying it properly. Caused by a fungal pathogen that attacks the skin and can produce dramatic physical distortions. Infected frogs and toads can look so different from healthy ones that they're barely recognizable as the species they belong to. Others think it's simply a toad covered in mud or sediment from the bottom of the pond, which would explain the unusual texture. But there are also those who are not satisfied with either explanation. The way this thing moves doesn't quite match a sick toad or a mud-covered one either. So what do you think is swimming in that pond? The world keeps getting stranger, and sometimes the strangest things are not in the sky or the woods, but right in your neighborhood, stuck to a lamppost on a quiet street. People across one community started finding these flyers, and once you read what is on them, well, it's easy to see why they spread so quickly. The flyer is a job offer, $100 a day. The role involves coming in as a patient, but not a real patient. You don't actually need to be sick. You'll be lying in a bed with a bedpan while a woman takes care of you. She feeds you, clothes you, and treats you exactly as if you're bedridden, a person under her care. She'll pay you for the privilege of doing this to you. On the flyer, there's a photograph of 3 men lying in what looks like hospital beds side by side, and a 4th empty bed with a note that she has a spot available. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. Taking care of people is a recognized interest for certain individuals, and it exists on a spectrum from the nurturing to the deeply concerning. But the fact that these flyers appear across an entire neighborhood rather than through any conventional channel only adds to the mystery. We're not here to make conclusions, but the question remains, what exactly is going on in that house? And has anyone actually responded to this flyer? Speaking of strange, take a look at this security footage. As you can see, it's night and the streets are empty. Then, from across the street, a dark entity is seen walking by, but then it stops midway and turns to look at something. Then a man in a hoodie appears, not knowing he's being watched. The hooded man goes to someone's car, opens it, and takes some stuff. While he busily searches the car, the entity starts to walk towards the thief in the car. Before he can get close, however, the man takes what he wants and proceeds to run away. And that's when things get odd, because the entity realizes it and also chases after him. This is such a strange situation. Through the whole ordeal, the man is not aware of the entity's presence. So what was that entity? Is it some sort of supernatural police? Did it catch up to the man? What did it do when it caught up with him? Here we have satellite footage from the infamous Area 51. In the video, a very large sphere suddenly appears from the sky, descending smoothly until it lands on the ground. It remains stationary for just a few seconds before shooting back up into the sky at an incredibly fast speed, disappearing from view almost instantly. Now, we all know that Area 51 has been under intense scrutiny for years, often speculated to be either an alien base or a top-secret facility where the military hides its most classified projects. This footage only adds to the mystery surrounding the site. While some are convinced this is real, others think it's nothing more than a digitally created clip. What say you? A resident in Peru was about to head to bed when something caught his eye through the window, a dark figure looming over him. He described it as a creature with a terrifying face, unlike anything he'd ever seen before. It didn't resemble an ape, Bigfoot, or even a dogman, which are the usual go-to comparisons for strange sightings like this. This creature was tall, towering over the window, and covered in dark fur. The way it stared down at him was unsettling, with an almost monstrous presence. It didn't fit any of the familiar categories, making it even more eerie and mysterious. The resident was left shaken by the encounter, convinced that what he saw was something far from ordinary, a true monster lurking in the night. What could this creature be? Something mythical, or perhaps a yet-to-be-discovered species? Next, we visit Australia, the home of the redback spider. Oh, sorry, I just had to get that off my chest, even though this clip has nothing to do with the highly venomous redback spider. Anyway, enjoy. If you can't recognize the skeleton you're looking at, that's fine, because almost all who saw it couldn't identify it either. Some thought it was a dugong, but that just didn't make sense. Did I say everyone? No, forgive me. The scientific and logical community couldn't identify it. The paranormal community, however, think we may be dealing with the real skeleton of a mermaid or something closely related. Looking at it, I have to agree, and because I didn't want Julius shooting down my beliefs with his poorly informed logic, I didn't tell him. But guys, tell me you don't see a mermaid when you look at this. If you do, I won't bring this subject up ever again. It's always the abandoned places. On second thought, I guess they are abandoned for a reason. This was sent in by someone who looked down into an old well, curious to see what was inside. But as they stare into the darkness, they start to feel like someone or something is watching them. But here's where it gets weird. From the bottom of the well, they see a pair of eyes looking back at them, shining in the dark. What could be living down there in this empty well? At first, I thought it might be a cat, but Julius and Aaron disagreed. They think it's either humanoid or bipedal, but it's hard to imagine anyone living in such a lonely place. So, what could we be dealing with here? Perhaps I should let you guys take point on this one. Alexa has become a household name, and I mean that quite literally. This device is used in homes all around the world, but recently some disturbing observations have come to light. TMZ even did a show on it, highlighting reports of something terrifying happening within the Alexa systems. People have recorded strange, unsettling noises coming from their Alexa units, sounds that are guttural and inhuman, unlike anything you'd expect from a voice assistant. No one seems to know what these noises could be. Some have speculated that Alexa might be haunted, while others think it could be the result of someone hacking into the device or possibly a bizarre programming error. What's going on? Is there something more sinister at play, or is it just a technical glitch? This next footage is truly bizarre. It was taken by a group of hunters who were out in the woods searching for game. As they ventured deeper into the forest, their dogs started barking aggressively at something near the wooded area. The barking grew louder until something emerged, something that left the hunters completely stunned. What appeared before them was a human-sized insect-like creature. It had a huge head and flapping wings like those of an insect, but it was far larger than any insect or even alien they had ever seen. The creature looked otherworldly, and the footage, which was shared over 10 years ago on YouTube, has left puzzled viewers ever since. Not many people have been able to explain what this creature could be. Some believe it might be an alien, while others think it could be a type of cryptid, one of those mysterious creatures that people claim to see but that science hasn't officially recognized. What do you think? Do you believe there might be smaller men out there? And no, I don't mean dwarfs. If you don't, then this footage is for you. Did you see it? Yes, a small man peered from behind the tree and then disappeared when it felt like it was being watched. Little people have been a part of many folklore and traditions. Looking at this clip, I'm tempted to believe they're real. There's no way you're telling me this clip is edited or manipulated, or is it? Guys, tell me what you think. Personally, though, I think this is real, and I can't wait to check out the location. And of course, I'm not sharing the location with you guys until I've confirmed and seen them with my eyes. Wish me luck. Have you ever had a stalker in your life? No? Take a look at this one. The footage starts with this innocent-looking woman walking into a building. Well, according to her, she went in through her garage, but stay focused. The garage isn't our primary objective here. A few seconds after she's entered, something steps out of the shadows and we can barely see its dark limbs. It's almost as though it was contemplating whether to go in or not. But stepping away from the creature's intentions, we have to wonder what exactly is that creature. What did it want and why was it stalking the woman? Given the fact that this was posted online without any mention of an accident, we can only hope the woman is fine. But seriously, what is that?
My father acquired the Bigfoot September 23, 1953.
What is that, you ask? Well, this man says that his father caught a Bigfoot back in 1953. According to him, his father found the creature in a swamp and brought it home. To preserve it, they placed it in the refrigerator, an unconventional choice, but one they thought would preserve the creature's features.
That they had no other choice, with most of them, to dissect them, cut them up so that they could get them out of the swamp.
The creature, with its brown fur and unusual features, remained frozen in the refrigerator for decades until he brought it out. When scientists finally examined it, they hoped to unlock its secrets, but their tests only deepened the mystery. The creature's DNA, appearance, and structure baffled experts, leaving them with more questions than answers. Was this truly a Bigfoot, a legendary creature of folklore, or was it something else entirely, a new species, a genetic anomaly, or even a hoax?
That they had no other choice with most of them to dissect them, cut them up so that they could get them out of the swamp.
While taking a nighttime stroll, someone encountered this surreal and eerie sight. Dozens of cats, maybe 50 or more, calmly walking along the side of the street. Their eyes glowed ominously in the darkness, reflecting the camera's light and creating an almost otherworldly scene. Immediately, these creatures sprang to mind. Where did these cats come from? Where are their owners? And why are so many gathered together? Now, we have no answers to this, but can anyone confirm if stray cats do this? So we can know if this is indeed something to be worried about or if it's just something surreal. How do you like your hot springs? How about this hot? No? Well, me neither. I've watched this video over and over and over and over, and I must say, I have no idea what's going on here. The last time I checked, clean water doesn't burst into flames no matter how hot it gets. So what could be wrong with this water? Well, we don't know. Some believe it's very contaminated and toxic. Some think it's laced with methane. Others think it might be a filter. We can't say for sure which it is, but if this dude really bathed in these toxic waters, then it's safe to say he needs a checkup, and not with a medical doctor, but with a shrink. Do you like light shows? If you do, get ready to be amazed by nature's light show. What you're seeing is an incredible glow of bioluminescent water, an absolutely mesmerizing phenomenon. Bioluminescent plankton, or algae as they're called, are the ones behind this magical glow. Anytime night falls and darkness descends upon the coastal waters, this remarkable transformation takes place. These tiny organisms are endowed with the extraordinary ability to produce light through chemical reactions within their cells and cast a radiant glow upon the surface of the sea. With each gentle movement of the water, the bioluminescent organisms shimmer and sparkle, creating a mesmerizing display that captivates all who behold it. Beautiful, isn't it? It seems the paranormal creatures, supernatural beings, and cryptids are becoming even more real as time goes on. They're now perceived as actual creatures rather than just scary bedtime tales, and by no other than the Vatican. A whistleblower has mentioned that they're being provided with guidelines and training on what to do in encounters with supernatural beings. Now, this doesn't look like a joke if the Vatican came to release this, but it doesn't end there. Unsettling reports have surfaced on social media from other teachers claiming schools conducted drills for alien encounters, including a so-called skinwalker test lockdown at an Ohio school in November 2023. Additionally, a phenomenon dubbed demon face syndrome has emerged, where people claim to see human-like figures with demonic facial features reminiscent of the viral case of a woman who reported seeing a demon on a plane. These bizarre occurrences have fueled speculation that something ominous may be looming. Some have even theorized these events could be linked to the European particle physics lab CERN, suggesting their experiments may have inadvertently opened a portal, allowing interdimensional creatures into our world. The question on everyone in our team's mind is, why now? The funny thing is, we don't have answers, but if it's true, then we might be in serious trouble. Did you watch a previous episode, the one about the alien ship scanning living organisms and objects on our planet using lasers? If you didn't, please watch it after this episode ends. If you did, then you may understand this clip a little better. Enjoy. You see it, right? That's different ships scanning different areas with the same green laser. There's no way you can tell me these are all coincidences. I mean, coincidences that we have alien-looking ships flying at top speeds with green lasers scanning buildings and individuals? I don't think so. And you know the interesting thing? These were sent in by different subscribers, yet they'd all had one thing in common: green lasers. This is us wondering and asking how long these things have been going on for. Are they scanning just to keep our DNA, or are they searching for something or someone in particular? What do you guys think?
Look at that.
This man was out looking at the night sky when he noticed something odd with what he thought to be a star. Among all the stars in the sky, one shines brighter and hovers about rather quickly. If you know anything about stars, you know that that's not how they behave. As the video continues, this bright thing moves back and forth across the sky. It settles and finally disappears. It's unlike anything they've ever seen before.
I don't even know what to think about this.
Many who saw it don't think it's a star at all. They think we may be dealing with a spaceship. Personally, I prefer that to the other theories, such as it being a drone. But what about you guys? What comes to mind?
I've been looking out for it for a while.
Do you believe in voodoo? No? Well, how do you explain this? Yes, that's an inanimate object levitating solely on the charms of those men jumping and dancing around it. I don't know whether they're praising or worshipping, but whatever it is, it's definitely got some power to it. It's like Harry Potter without wands. Blimey. While I do think there's some authenticity to these African religions, and this is definitely real, Julius thinks it might just be a hoax meant to draw unsuspecting individuals in. I don't think so, though, especially because he can't explain how it's a hoax, despite his big brains. What do you guys think, though? Real or fake? Someone found this strange-looking thing on a wall, and it's seriously bizarre. It's this thick, almost gelatinous substance that seems to be moving on its own like it's alive. It doesn't just sit there as you'd expect. There's an unsettling, almost organic motion to it, like it's trying to crawl or spread. Some people are speculating that it could be an insect covered in some sort of goo, maybe something that got stuck in a sticky substance and is now struggling to get free. But the way it moves is really odd, almost unnatural. So what do you think this could be? Could it really be just an insect in a sticky situation, or is there something more to this strange, living-like blob? Here's another disturbing footage of a mosquito infestation. We're not sure where this was recorded, but it's got us wondering what's going on with all these insect infestations. In recent years, there's been a noticeable rise in such outbreaks, and it's raising serious concerns. Factors like climate change, urbanization, and shifts in ecosystems are contributing to the rapid spread of these insects. Warmer temperatures and increased humidity create the perfect breeding grounds for mosquitoes, leading to larger and more frequent infestations. These swarms pose not only a nuisance, but also significant health risks, as mosquitoes are known as carriers of disease like malaria, dengue fever, and the Zika virus. Now, when this started to play, I must say I thought I was seeing a large crab or some form of crustacean creature stretching its legs. I watched it over and over and over, and each time, made my skin crawl. Being the researcher I am, thanks to the influence of Julius, I did some digging around and found out later that there was nothing ominous about this. In fact, it's just a plant feeder that slowly dissolves in the water, allowing for planned and timed feeds. Neat contraption, right? Well, that's only if you know what it is. If you don't, you may end up posting it online thinking you've captured something otherworldly. Thankfully, I'm not like that, thanks to Julius. It pained me to say that last part, but it is what it is. The one thing that came to mind when I first saw this footage was a nearly headless Nick in the Harry Potter franchise. This man, however, appears to not have a head at all. How is this possible? Well, it's not. At least, it's not supposed to be. So what are we dealing with here? Well, either this is something supernatural or it's pretty cool and a neat trick. Personally, I don't think it's real, but one of the comments on the original post caught my attention. Yeah, she believes it might belong to a race of beings that are just like humans, but only headless. What do you guys think? Next, let's take a look at the impressive Arapaima fish, which is large and covered in hard scales that are tougher than steel. The fish, often referred to as the Superman fish, is native to the Amazon. It can reach lengths of up to 15 feet, 4.5 meters, and weigh as much as 485 pounds, 220 kilograms. The Arapaima has an elongated body with large, broad scales that are typically dark greenish-black with red markings toward the tail, giving it a distinctive appearance. But that's not all. Let's talk about the scales. These scales, which are extremely tough and more resilient than steel of the same thickness, provide protection to the Arapaima from predators and other dangers in the water. Additionally, the Arapaima has a primitive lung and needs to surface for air due to living in oxygen-depleted waters in the Amazon basin. The Arapaima is a carnivorous species, feeding on fish, crustaceans, and even small land animals that come too close to the water's edge. What would you do when your daughter starts talking to an unseen being at the hospital? Well, you think about it, take a look at this clip.
Weird. Is it you?
Is it me? It's not me.
It's motion sensor. There's no one over there. Okay, do it one more time.
Do it one more time, please. So, you're a girl? You're a girl! Are you She's a girl!
And just for show, let's see if it comes on right here.
Okay.
I'm right here.
Okay.
Nothing. Are you 5? Are you 6? 7?
8.
9? You're 9? You're 9 years old?
This woman and her daughter were in the hospital because she was not well. The faucet all of a sudden turns on as though there was someone there. The mother just thinks the motion sensor isn't working well, but her daughter insists there's a 9-year-old girl. She starts talking to her daughter, but the mother is unable to see anything. The conversation goes on and the unseen being tells them her name while her daughter engages her some more. They leave the room for some scans and return to find the faucet back to normal. It never acts up again and the little girl tells them that the ghost is gone.
That was creepy.
What do you mean creepy?
How did Diva guess it? Yeah, it is creepy.
It was so freaky that her dad was involved, but on their return, nothing was there. If she was your daughter, what would you have done? Personally, I would have taken her out of the room. I mean, how do we know the spirit didn't attach itself to her or disappear to her home? It would be risky if that were remotely true, but then again, maybe I'm overthinking it. What say you?
What noise, baby?
Oh, it sounds like static, like on my phone.
Does it? Can you do a screen recording?
I don't know why it sounds like that.
So, someone sent us this video he had seen somewhere else asking if this was normal. He stated that he'd never lived in a place with snow and found it odd that snow could be rolled like this. He thought snow was supposed to be powdery and felt the government might be messing with our weather. While I don't deny my suspicions of the government messing with our weather, I don't think this is it. I did some digging around and confirmed what I already knew. This is actually possible as long as the snow is wet and sticky and not dry. As long as these conditions are met, you should be able to roll your snow. Unless, perhaps the government paid me to feed you this conspiracy. If you can believe that. It's been a while since we had an orb clip, so do enjoy this one. Right off the bat, I must say that this could qualify for the top 10 oddest and top 5 weirdest orb clips we've ever had. Not only is this present in a city, but it actually has a way of exploding or expanding, even if for a little bit, then shrinking again. It does this a couple of times and then disappears in the distance. The one who posted it said, aside from the red hue, nothing else happened in the area, and not many even noticed it, unless they were outside, since it occurred at sleeping hours. Those who saw the clip think we may actually be looking at something from the depths of CERN, but since we don't have proof, we can't pursue that theory. What do you guys think? Here's another strange sighting in the sky. It's near sundown, so the sky is almost dark, but there's a portion of the clouds where a bright, golden light is shining through. The glow is an almost otherworldly quality, casting an eerie yet beautiful light across its landscape. The light seems too intense and concentrated to be just the setting sun, as if something is hidden behind the clouds, letting just a bit of light escape. It's almost as if there's a hidden source of light, something powerful and mysterious illuminating the clouds from within. Viewers who have seen this kind of phenomenon are wondering if it's some rare natural event like sunlight reflecting off ice crystals in the atmosphere, or if there's something more unusual at play. With the increasing number of strange occurrences in the sky, could this golden light be a sign of something more mysterious, perhaps even a glimpse into something otherworldly? What we are looking at here is the unsettling sight of a decomposed human body, leaving a stain on the hallway floor of her home. The scene is even more haunting, with a walker lying nearby, a silent witness to the tragic event. It's said that this was an elderly woman who had passed away in her home, unnoticed and alone. No one arrived in time to help her. She might have lost her footing, fallen, and been unable to get back up, but what's even sadder is that no one came to check on her. She may have lain there in pain for hours, or perhaps she died instantly. There's no way to know for sure. By the time someone thought to check in on her, she was already long gone and decomposing. This is a deeply disturbing reminder of the importance of looking out for our loved ones. It's crucial to check up on them regularly to ensure they're okay and to prevent such heartbreaking situations. Yes, that's an actual person trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean in inflatables. It's a human-sized hamster wheel. I'm not sure how he got the idea, but he really believes it can work. He was allegedly spotted 80 miles off the shores of Georgia, and guess where he was going? The United Kingdom. Yep, that's right. He believes this could get him there. Either we're undermining his ability to do this, or he really underestimated how much of a journey he was committing himself to. Fortunately, or unfortunately for him, authorities found him and took him off the waters. Do you guys think he could have made it? Tell us in the comments section. Yup, that's a creature standing in the dark with a pair of glowing eyes. It's definitely not human. It has extremely pale skin, and the outline of its head is shaped like a skeleton. It appears to be very tall, say about 8 to 9 feet. As you try to make sense of what you are seeing, the darkness hides most of the creature's body, leaving only its spooky outline against the night sky. What do you think this could be? Kindly hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so lets you stay updated and allows us to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Now let's continue with the day's episode. While on a hike on a mountain, someone captured this. It was just a regular day when someone saw this weird triangular aircraft hovering over a mountain. It was just floating there, spinning around in broad daylight, when all of a sudden a bright beam of light shot out from it and hit the top of the mountain. It's almost as though it were either dropping or picking up something. There are all these crazy conspiracy theories about UFOs and aliens setting up secret bases in far-off secluded places around the world. The way some weird stuff has been coming out lately, you have to wonder if some of these wacky conspiracy stories might actually be onto something. The big question, however, is, did the person actually stumble across an alien hideout up in the mountains in the middle of the day, or was it all just an elaborate hoax meant to get people worked up about little green men? It's hard to know what's really going on. The lines get really blurred between what's legitimate and what's made up nonsense designed to trick us. With so many bizarre unanswered questions out there, who knows what other strange things could be happening right out in the open without us realizing it? Camping alone in the middle of a forest can be a peaceful escape into nature, but it can quickly become unsettling when the quiet is interrupted by something strange. One camper's story highlights this perfectly.
Not sure if you guys ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but damn, this is just giving me Blair Witch Project vibes.
A man went camping alone in the forest. As he was about to retire to bed, he started to hear something and felt this eerie feeling like he was not alone. So he decided to look around to make sure there was no one around. As he was checking, he heard a voice from the darkness. Take a look. Did you hear that? The voice said, "I see you." Despite being afraid, he still moved toward the voice but found no one.
Ooh. Okay. That was creepy. I need to get out of here.
After a few minutes, he then began to feel like he was being followed. So out of fear, he decided to go back to his campsite, but he had lost his way. Thankfully, however, he did make it back safely. If you ask me, I'd say that's quite a scary experience. The scary thing is he never found whatever was responsible for the noise, even when the day came, which has left him and his community wondering. Was it a creepy person out there trying to give him a scare, or did he encounter an entity out there? I guess that's an answer we may never know for certainty.
This. Oh, hi. What the hell?
So this next one was sent in by a man who heard a lot of commotion in his backyard and went to investigate. Take a look.
I hope not, because it's almost falling apart. It wouldn't be very safe, but I'm going to come out here and have a look around, see if any of the neighborhood kids are messing around or anything. I'll get quiet here for a second.
You saw it too, didn't you? There was a hidden figure on his roof. It appeared to be dark and humanoid. In fact, it was almost human if not for its dark skin et al. Many who saw this thought it might be a Bigfoot, but I disagree. I don't think it's large enough, even for a juvenile Bigfoot. If it was, I don't think the frame could have held it. Also, I haven't known Bigfoots to be that acrobatic, but, well, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think we could be dealing with here? This footage was taken back in 2012 by some fishermen who were on a commercial boat. They were headed out on a regular fishing trip, hoping to catch a lot of fish, but instead of the usual catch, they found something incredible. As they pull up their net, they discover a huge creature tangled inside, trying to break free. And to make things even more surprising, a human-like arm sticks out from the mass with webbed fingers. Now, I don't know of any edible fish with hands, which has me wondering what exactly the fisherman caught. Could it be one of the legendary mermaids or a siren species, or are we dealing with something entirely new? This footage was captured in Albany, New York, and it's nothing short of extraordinary. In the video, you can see a triangular craft hovering silently in the sky. The object appears to defy gravity, hanging motionless in the air with no visible means of propulsion. Witnesses who saw the craft were baffled by its presence as it didn't resemble any known aircraft. The triangular shape combined with its eerie stillness immediately sparked speculation. Could this be some sort of advanced military technology, or perhaps something not of this world? You see the bird the man is holding in his hands, right? Well, what if I told you that although it might look like a bird, it's not a real one? It's actually a new tech creation by the Chinese PLA. This drone bird flaps its wings and looks incredibly lifelike. It's designed to blend in with real birds, allowing it to spy without being detected. This kind of technology could be a game changer in covert operations, serving a crucial role in secret missions where stealth is key. Warfare in the future is going to be pretty interesting as individuals all around the world are developing spy tech that look like birds, bugs, and everyday items. A part of me is excited, and then there's a part of me that can't also help but worry. But then again, perhaps it's just me. What do you guys think? If you've ever doubted ghosts exist, perhaps this clip is for you. Can you see it? There's a small, translucent girl walking around the room. I'm not exactly sure what the spirit is doing, but it doesn't appear to be hurting anyone. One thing's been on my mind, though. Why would a spirit be roaming in such a place? What do you guys think is going on there? Kindly share your thoughts. Have you ever been to a place and suddenly saw something that was never there a few minutes or hours earlier? What if that thing looked like this? Yeah, the man recording this footage found this strange-looking thing in the middle of nowhere, and the funny thing is, he had been there some hours before and didn't see it. So where did this come from? The fact is, no one knows, but the monolith, which is the name they are giving to this strange figure, has been seen in many other places. It always appears suddenly without a trace of how it got there. Many think the aliens are responsible, but, well, I don't think so. Frankly, I get why they think that, but Julius thinks humans might have something to do with it. Have you heard about these monoliths? Do you have a theory on their existence? Please share in the comments section. A woman was parked in a lot when she noticed something strange, a solid lamppost wobbling in the cold, snowy weather. The wind was blowing, but it didn't seem strong enough to cause the metal to bend and move like that. This is definitely an odd sight. Metal structures, especially something as sturdy as a lamppost, aren't supposed to wobble easily. So how could this be happening? Could it be a structural issue or something about the extreme cold affecting the metal? Whatever the cause, it's definitely not something you see every day. We all know what piranhas are, those fierce-looking little predators of the water. Well, take a look at this video. A fish tank filled with tiny piranhas. Just watch how aggressively they chase after the fish that was dropped into the tank. The fish tries to dart around, desperately trying to escape, but the piranhas are relentless, closely pursuing it around the tank. As soon as they got a hold of it, the poor thing was reduced to nothing in seconds. It's a chilling reminder of just how powerful these tiny creatures can be. They look small, but don't underestimate them. Messing with piranhas is not something you want to do. Someone sent this stating he was a goat man, but once I saw the inscription, it hurt my heart because this person you see is every bit as human as you and I, only with a medical and birth defect. If you ever see someone like this, just know that they're actually suffering from microencephaly. For those unfamiliar with the term, microencephaly is a condition that affects the brain, particularly during fetal development. The term microencephaly literally means small brain. In individuals with microencephaly, the brain doesn't develop properly, resulting in a smaller than usual brain size. This condition can lead to various developmental issues and intellectual disabilities. Hopefully, this explains his behavior. Microencephaly can occur due to various factors, including genetic abnormalities, exposure to harmful substances during pregnancy, infections such as the Zika virus, or lack of proper nutrition during pregnancy. So guys, I know we love the supernatural and all related things, but sometimes it's just someone going through some birth defects. So be kind, okay? At least until we can prove that whatever you're thinking is the case. Have you ever had an unexpected and invited visitor at your home? Did they look something like this? Well, you thought that was an ominous being, didn't you? Well, for the first few seconds, that's what I thought, until the light hit. While this might have been a game if you live in America, especially in states where individuals are mandated to have a gun, I'm not sure you should be trying something like this. The funny thing is, individuals in the comments sections thought so too. Take a look at this. For the first time in a long time, I agree. You don't want to get pew-pewed while playing a prank. It can be painful and, well, deadly. While in the woods, someone was startled by this strange noise. That didn't sound like any creature we know, and to make matters worse, it sounded like it was coming from a huge creature. The individual who shared this footage believes that it was a Bigfoot. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, you know, that large ape-like creature rumored to live in North American forests. People who claim to have seen Bigfoot say they've heard deep, strange calls similar to the noise you've heard now, which adds some credibility to it. There's also a chance the noise could be human-made, maybe someone playing a prank or using special equipment to create spooky sounds. What do you think? In this clip, a TikTok user shares his haunting encounter. According to him, there was a strange child in a long furry skirt and a thick jacket and wearing an animal mask that would stand on his compound in front of his house and stare right at the door. He would always see this child through the Ring camera just standing there unmoving. He had no idea who it was or why they were there. One day he mastered the courage and walked up to this child while filming. As you can see, the child stands there unmoved and unshaken in the same strange outfit. This is a very disturbing situation.
You okay? Are you okay?
Is this child simply curious or eccentric, unaware of the discomfort they're causing? Or could there be something more sinister at play, a darker presence hiding behind an innocent facade?
Hello? Seriously, man, you're kind of creeping me out. Where are your parents at? Hello? Hello?
Still on Merfolk, take a look at this. This looks human and yet looks fishy at the same time. Do you know what else has fishy and human attributes? That's right, mermaids. I want to believe this is real. I really want to, but my brain can't get past the fact that their upper body is covered like a... Why is it covered? How would we know this isn't some doll you're trying to mislead us with? Because I have my doubts, I shared this with Julius, and as expected, he doesn't think it's real. But perhaps we're the ones being unreasonable. Do you guys think this footage is real? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Still on homeowners and property owners, the owner of this footage noticed someone was breaking into his property and set up a trail cam. From the clip, we can clearly tell it's no animal, it's human. Some who saw it thought it was weird to see a human's light reflect light, but if you have the right infrared cam, it's not so weird. Now, the main question on everyone's mind is this just an ordinary human breaking into his property for her own dubious reasons, or could we really be dealing with a supernatural being taking on the form of a human? Well, everyone who's seen the clip has joked it's his mother-in-law, but what do you guys think? You know how we're all about making life easier with technology. Do you think we've gone too far? If my question confuses you, take a look at this. In case you haven't guessed it already, that's an artificial womb. So basically, instead of a woman going through the process of pregnancy, the egg is fertilized and grown outside till it's mature. While for some women this sounds like a win, there are others who think this is just wrong. To them, it's an offense against nature, and all children who come from this would be of the devil with no souls. I know that's strong language, but let's put the demonic and soul debate aside for a bit. For all that's good and lovely, would you consider this a good and healthy thing to do? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Feast your eyes on this image, the remnants of what is believed to be a werewolf or some sort of ancient beast preserved in glass at the Obscura Museum in Denmark. This chilling display has captured the imaginations of many who've seen it. The remains, encased in a glass chamber, are thought to be part of a creature that once roamed the earth, possibly a werewolf or something even more sinister. The Obscura Museum is renowned for its collection of strange and eerie artifacts, but this exhibit takes the cake. Whether it's the remnants of folklore brought to life or simply an elaborate hoax, it raises a multitude of questions. Is this evidence of a mythical creature from ancient legends, or could there be a scientific explanation behind it? Let's hear your thoughts. On November the 20th, 2024, a Florida senator introduced a bill aimed at banning the use of weather modification techniques. This legislation specifically targets the use of chemicals and other technologies to manipulate weather conditions, such as altering temperatures, sunlight, or precipitation. The move has reignited debates surrounding long-standing conspiracy theories that claim scientists or even governments may be behind certain unexplained weather phenomenon. For years, theories about weather control have included allegations of cloud seeding, geoengineering, and even secretive programs like HAARP, High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program. Supporters of the bill argue it's a proactive measure to prevent the misuse of emerging weather-altering technologies and to address environmental concerns. Critics, however, see it as either unnecessary, if such practices aren't widespread, or as quiet confirmation that weather manipulation is more real than previously acknowledged. Does this bill lend credence to weather control theories, or is it a precautionary measure for future developments in technology? Could this be the beginning of transparency in weather-related sciences, or does it fuel more questions than answers? What are your thoughts? Whilst you share your thoughts, this image captures how many individuals feel the government has denied the existence of such technology for years, only to come out and ban them. Someone must be lying somewhere, and it's certainly not the masses. Animals in the wild are constantly at risk from predators, and many have developed fascinating coping mechanisms to protect themselves and their offspring. This penduline tit is a prime example of this ingenuity. These small birds are known for their intricately woven nests which hang delicately from tree branches. Inside these nests, they lay their eggs, but the birds go to great lengths to ensure the safety of their future generations. To ward off predators like snakes, penduline tits employ a clever strategy. Their nests have two entrances. One entrance acts as a decoy, luring wandering snakes or other predators away from their eggs. It's essentially a trap door to nowhere meant to mislead and confuse. Meanwhile, the true entrance, known only to the penduline tit, allows safe access to the eggs. This ingenious design helps increase the chances of survival for their offspring. Such an intelligent architecture. What would you do if you woke up to something like this? Before you answer, let's talk about the fascinating world of art. Why? Well, the answer is simple. It allows individuals to showcase their creativity in many ways, and one person recently demonstrated this beautifully. They embarked on an art project centered around the theme of heartfelt expression. But I gave my heart to you, and the result was truly captivating. The artwork took the form of an upper torso of a human figure, delicately crafted to hold a heart in its hand. The artist fashioned the figure from sackcloth and positioned it to hang behind his bedroom door. Little did he know the impact this creation would have on the night. After retiring to bed and switching off the lights, the artist was startled to find the figure's eyes glowing in the darkness. It seemed to be fixated on him, casting an eerie and unsettling presence that lingered in the stillness of the night. Despite sharing the evidence to show that it was not something eerie, many think he ought to be careful because during the day the thing has no eyes, but during the night it appears to have eyes that glow. What do you think?
This the spot. Nah, come back out. Look, why they be peeking?
Stepping away from eyes staring from the darkness, what do you know about eyes that stare in the light with bodies you can definitely make out from the darkness? Confused? Well, watch this. You see it, don't you? It looks like a tiny fairy looking at the man recording. For context, he was exploring the woods when he realized he was being watched. He looked around and noticed these tiny beings. For a moment, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Maybe he'd had too much to eat. He then took his camera out to record, and funny enough, the beings were still present on the cam. Not only were they seemingly hiding in the trees, they were also peeking. Were they surprised to see the man, or were they simply surprised he could see them? That's hard to say. Nonetheless, I did some digging around and realized different cultures have records of little people who lived in places where humans wouldn't disturb them. If that's to be believed, then it's safe to say these guys were not happy about meeting this inquisitive human. At least, that's my hypothesis. What's yours?
Spot. This the spot. Nah, come back out. Look, why they be peeking like...
Here we have another fascinating piece of security footage. The camera, positioned at the front of someone's house, captures the front yard, fence, street, and the house across the way. In the stillness of the night, the sky suddenly lights up with a bright purple flash. Immediately after, a figure appears out of nowhere. Due to the camera's angle, only the lower torso of the person is visible, but the sequence is striking. After the light fades, the figure simply walks away. The sudden appearance of the figure following the flash raises intriguing questions. Could this be an example of teleportation? Next, we visit a topic that's not necessarily paranormal, but one that's deeply concerning: the growth of fake eggs in the American food market. Take a look at this footage. These fake eggs are allegedly from China, where it's become a practice to manufacture eggs using chemicals. These synthetic creations are designed to mimic the appearance and texture of natural eggs, but they are far from the real deal. What's worrying is that these fake eggs are now making their way into the American market and could soon spread worldwide. Experts warn that consuming them could pose serious health risks over time. What do you think about this disturbing trend? Would you be able to tell if the eggs you're eating are real or fake?
In Trinity County and all of East Texas, Sheriff Woody Wallace of Trinity County here. Look at here, we got some dumpers. And everybody knows we don't tolerate dumping in East Texas, especially in Trinity County. So I don't know who dumped this, but we're going to do everything we can to find out. What the perpetrators don't realize is on both ends of this road, I have cameras up. I can see the cars when they come in. I can check the cars when they come out. They had a bunch of garbage when they come in, and it's not still in the back of their truck when they leave. We've got a problem. So this right here.
Now in this footage, a sheriff was having an interview with a park in Texas, Trinity County. As the sheriff passionately addresses the issue of dumped trash, urging viewers to respect the sanctity of the park, something emerges behind him from among the trees. The sheriff doesn't see it, but viewers do, a creature standing upright and covered in fur. But before anyone can get a good look, the creature disappears into the trees, leaving everyone amazed and unsure of what they just saw. But one thing is for sure, this creature was no bear or gorilla. Many who saw the clip believe we got a Bigfoot on our hands. What do you think? Thought it would be appropriate to go out with a big bang. Oh, look at that. A massive bull with huge thick horns on its head. In many cultures, bulls are revered for their vitality and celebrated in traditional sports like bullfighting and rodeo. But despite their grace, their power can be daunting. Imagine the damage it would cause if it sweeps you off the ground. For all their majesty and magnificence, bulls are creatures to be approached with caution. Their strength is unmatched, and their potential for harm is real. In their presence, one can't help but feel humbled by the raw power of the natural world. While you share your thoughts on that, we visit the mountains of northeast Mexico, where something rather interesting was captured on a trail cam. Take a look. This image was captured by a trail camera that had been set up by an explorer after an expedition into the mountains with his dogs. It was a day like every other, and they decided to use a trail they had never used before. All was good and fine until they started to feel they were not alone. He couldn't shake off the feeling but continued the expedition nonetheless. Their adventure would be halted by a howl that was so scary that it made his youngest dog run and the oldest assume a fighting stance. It took a while to get them under control. Once he had them under control, he left the area but returned later with a trail cam which he set up. That trail cam captured the image on your screen. That's the last thing it captured though. Someone or something opened the camera to prevent it from capturing images. Given the way the image looks and the mysterious nature of the whole thing, members of the community believe he encountered a Bigfoot. What do you think? This eerie incident occurred when a man parked outside, noticing strange noises coming from across the street. Intrigued by it, he decided to take out his phone and record the scene. That's when an inexplicable event unfolded. A woman emerged from thin air out of the shadows before walking away. The footage has sparked widespread speculation. Some believe she may have walked through a portal. Others think she might be a ghostly apparition. The lack of a clear explanation leaves room for theories about interdimensional travel, spectral appearances, or even elaborate hoaxes. What do you think she could be? There have been numerous strange objects spotted in the sky, many of which remain shrouded in mystery. With the rapid advancement of technology, it's possible that some of these sightings could be experimental tech being tested. In this particular footage, the observer captured a peculiar object in the sky. It appears to be a round structure with two bumps at the bottom, unlike anything commonly seen. The shape and design don't match any known aircraft or drone, making it all the more intriguing. Could this be a new piece of technology, a drone, or something entirely different? It's hard to say for sure, but with the way tech is evolving, it's not far-fetched to consider that this could be a prototype or an experimental craft being tested. What do you think? While walking through a secluded community, a passerby decided to capture the serene surroundings on video. The footage shows a quiet area with trees gently swaying and a few buildings dotting the landscape. Everything seems peaceful, almost mundane. But as the camera pans across one of the buildings, something unexpected happens. A dark figure suddenly appears against the stark white of the building. The figure is slender, its form almost ethereal, and it has an appearance that can only be described as alien-like. What do you make of it? Bruce Xaudia, a wildlife videographer on YouTube, recently explored the Sunshine Coast in Canada, a region known for Bigfoot sightings. After speaking to a local who claimed to have seen a Sasquatch in the area, Bruce decided to investigate the location himself during a hike with his family. While hiking, he arrived at a field and began hearing strange noises coming from the tree line. Curious, he took out his camera and started filming, zooming in on the area. Because it was so bright outside, he couldn't clearly make out what he was capturing in real time. Later, upon reviewing the footage at home, Bruce noticed something unusual. Behind a tree, there appeared to be a figure crouched on the ground. The figure was difficult to identify, but Bruce believes it could be a Sasquatch. What do you think?
And I'm going to color in what I see, red, and then dotted red, that there's something else behind the bushes there that could be extension of the object.
What is that?
What came to mind when you heard the audio? If you weren't paying attention, listen again. Does that sound like anything you know? If you answered no, it's the same situation for us. No one on my team knows what we're dealing with, and neither does the paranormal community. The individual who uploaded the clip thought the sounds were unusual, which is why he recorded. He was hoping for answers, but the clip ended up dividing the community. There were some who thought it sounded prehistoric, like a dinosaur. Some were very skeptical, stating that such a thing couldn't be true. They even accused the poster of faking and reversing the audio. There were others who also claimed to have been hearing such sounds near where they lived, Alaska to be precise. Having presented all the evidence to you, you've seen the clip too. What do you think we're dealing with here? Let us know in the comments section, especially if this is something you have heard too.
What is that?
This footage was shared by NASA. They discovered a black hole in space and it was emitting these eerie sounds. Take a look at the footage. For those unfamiliar with the concept, a black hole is one of the most mysterious and powerful objects in the universe. It's a region in space where gravity is so overwhelming that nothing, not even light, can escape its grasp. It's created from the remnants of massive stars that have reached the end of their life cycle, collapsing under their own immense gravity. Black holes used to be the stuff of imagination, but now they can be spotted, and even devices can be used to amplify the sounds coming from them. Just listen to these eerie sounds. They're so haunting. Camping is not for the faint of heart, especially when you're deep in the woods where wild animals can easily find their way to you. In this footage, a camper woke up in the morning to the sound of growling right outside his tent. Heart pounding, he cautiously unzipped the tent, only to come face to face with a massive bear standing just inches away. Panicked, he quickly zipped the tent back up, trying to put a barrier between himself and the enormous creature. It seemed the bear had sniffed him out and was now trying to claw its way into the tent. The situation was tense. One wrong move and things could have gone very badly. So the man began to scream at the bear, hoping to scare it off. To his immense relief, the loud shouts worked and the bear eventually retreated. But it was a close call, too close for comfort. Wouldn't you agree? This clip has a lot of weird things going on. First, we've got a couple of adults playing with their backs turned to the forest. I can write a whole dissertation on why this isn't safe, but let's move on. As they're having fun, a figure moves behind them and no one notices. They only noticed it while reviewing clips at home. They shared it with the paranormal community, and once they are there, they're divided. Some think it's genuine, whereas others think it's staged. You've seen the clip. Which do you think it is? Around the world, many traditions may seem unusual to outsiders, and one such practice is the Goraba festival celebrated in Gumatapura, India. This unique festival revolves around cow dung, a substance considered sacred and purifying in Hindu culture. Here's how it unfolds. Villagers collect cow dung, which is then taken to the local temple to be blessed by priests. Once consecrated, it becomes the centerpiece of the festivities. Participants use the dung for a variety of activities, most notably engaging in a cow dung fight where they gleefully throw it at each other. This tradition, while unusual, is deeply rooted in the belief that cow dung symbolizes prosperity and good luck. It's also seen as a way to foster community spirit and celebrate the connection to their agrarian roots. Would you ever consider joining such a unique cultural tradition? Optical illusions can play tricks on our minds, making us see things that aren't there. They take advantage of the quirks and limits of our perception, creating images that could be seen in different ways depending on how you look at them. Take, for example, the first clip. At first glance, it looks like there's a spooky, pale skull staring back at you. It's eerie and unsettling, making you think of ghosts or the supernatural. But if you look closer, you realize it's just a dog with its head resting at a strange angle on the bed. The way its fur and features are positioned make it momentarily look like a skull, but it's simply a trick of perspective. The rest of the clips are no different, and this shows how our brains can misinterpret what we see, especially when the scene is unusual or ambiguous. What seems like a scary apparition at first could just be a normal moment captured misleadingly. Imagine the number of weird sightings we have freaked out over that was just optical illusions. Aliens have perpetually piqued humans' curiosity, shrouded in fascination and enigma, whether through accounts of sightings in the dead of night or grainy videos. This footage captured over a densely forested area reveals a perplexing sight among the trees, an otherworldly entity. This enigmatic being had a disproportionately large head with dark penetrating eyes, and its gaze eerily tracked the movements of the camera. Every day, the line between science fiction and reality gets blurrier, and the idea of meeting aliens becomes more real. I mean, they might just become our next-door neighbors at this point, or do you think I'm exaggerating? This eerie footage from Indonesia, recorded in 2008, captures a truly unsettling encounter. As two men were crossing a bridge, they noticed something highly unusual in front of them. It was the lower half of a human torso wearing a black skirt. Strangely, there was no upper body visible, just the legs. What makes the scene even more chilling is the behavior of the legs. Initially, it was facing away toward the fence. However, when the light from the men's phone illuminated the figure, the legs turned to face them. This unnatural movement caused the men to panic, and they fled from the scene as fast as they could. Such an occurrence defies conventional explanation and aligns with certain ghost stories or folklore in Southeast Asia. In many Indonesian legends, apparitions of disembodied parts, particularly torsos or limbs, are associated with restless spirits or supernatural entities. Could this be a paranormal encounter? This next footage comes from a rancher who shared a strange find after a snowstorm. While he was out, checking on the debris he had been burning near his shed, he didn't notice anything unusual at the time. But later, as he reviewed the footage from his dash cam, something strange caught his eye. In the video, behind the shed, there appears to be a huge dark figure. It's a bit blurry, but if you look closely, you can make out the shape of something large, humanoid, and seemingly out of place. The rancher believes this could be a Bigfoot silently standing near the shed, possibly watching him. What do you think? The brain is an incredibly vital part of the body, and it's difficult to fathom a person being able to function without one. However, there exists a remarkable case that challenges this notion. A recent head scan of a French government worker displayed a significant reduction in brain matter, with about 90% of his cranial cavity filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Despite this, the individual had an IQ of 75, prompting the question of how he could function with such a drastic reduction in brain tissue. It was revealed that the man had experienced hydrocephalus as a child, a condition in which the cerebrospinal fluid accumulates in the brain. This fluid buildup compressed the brain tissue against the skull, leading to the loss of much of his brain matter over time. To treat this condition, a procedure was performed to divert the excess fluid, typically involving a shunt that drains the fluid to another part of the body, such as the heart or abdomen. Remarkably, despite the significant loss of brain matter, his body managed to function effectively. He went on to marry, have children, and work as a civil servant. This case serves as a truly fascinating example of the brain's plasticity and the body's ability to adapt and compensate for extreme medical conditions. Now what do we have here? Another bizarre and intriguing sight, a man with feet where his hands should be and hands where his feet should be. At first glance, it seems his limbs have been switched, with toes where fingers should be and vice versa. But if you look a bit closer, it becomes clear that this image has been altered, perhaps with Photoshop or something. The way the limbs blend, the awkward positioning, and the overall weird look, this isn't real. It's a clever digital trick. Our digital tools today have become so advanced that they create incredibly realistic images in the animations. Artists and filmmakers use these tools to create fantastical creatures and alter appearances in ways that wouldn't be possible in real life. In this case, the man with swapped limbs is probably a creative project meant to surprise. What did you think when you first saw it?
Here we go. Here it is. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
For several days, residents of New Jersey have been spotting and filming strange drones hovering in the area, sparking unease throughout the community. These drones reportedly feature 3 lights arranged in a triangular pattern, an unusual design not typical of standard drones. What's even more intriguing, the FBI had taken an interest in the case. If these were just regular drones, why would a federal agency step in? Could they be advanced spy technology, possibly from a foreign government, or could they be something far more extraordinary, like evidence of extraterrestrial activity? What's your take?
What is that?
Next, we've got a clip from 2020 that had many in the paranormal community talking when it was first released.
This is the exact spot that I just...
The man you see on your screen had been experiencing paranormal encounters and decided to share his experiences online. Sure, this was modern times, but it was still 2022, and many were still reserved when it came to cryptids and creatures of the night. The man on your screen, however, insisted his experiences were true, and they dared him to go live and show proof of the so-called experiences he'd been having. Everyone expected it to be a no-show and a flop. That was until something was caught in the background. Its movements were not human, and it appeared to have fur all over. This made many who were live with him conclude they were seeing either a dogman or a werewolf. The man in question had shared earlier experiences with these cryptids, which many didn't believe at first. But once this clip went viral, that changed and many believed him. Some remained skeptical, however, stating that he could have arranged and staged the whole thing. You've seen the clip. Which of these instances do you think is most likely?
This is the exact spot that I just...
This massive creature was spotted in a river by a man who happened to be walking by. The footage is a bit blurry, but you can clearly see its head emerging from the water, and it's enormous. The creature's size is truly intimidating, raising the question, what could it be? The man who captured the footage described it as something out of a nightmare, a huge shadowy figure lurking just beneath the water's surface. Its head, which appears to be several feet across, slowly moves through the water, causing ripples that disturb the calm of the river. Despite the poor quality of the video, the sheer size of the creature is unmistakable, and it's enough to send shivers down your spine. Is this an unknown species lurking in the depths, or perhaps a creature from ancient legends come to life? During a late-night ride, a dashcam in the car captured something that defies explanation. It was just an ordinary drive through a secluded road, the kind where thick forests stretch on both sides, creating an eerie tunnel of darkness. But then, out of nowhere, something bizarre happened. Did you catch that? A pair of legs, massive, powerful, just came rushing across the street. But here's the thing, they weren't just big, they were huge. These legs belonged to a creature so enormous that the driver couldn't even see the upper half of it. Imagine that. The creature's torso was completely out of sight, hidden in the dark, or maybe towering above the trees. Whatever it wasn't anything you'd expect to see crossing a road at night. The dashcam footage is unsettling to say the least. The speed at which the legs moved, the sheer size of them, it all felt like something out of a nightmare. No normal animal could be this large, at least, well, none that we know of.
Took him to bed, and that was that until about 3 in the morning, and then I just heard screaming. This was blood-curdling screaming, like someone was killing him. He was saying, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out." And that's what he was repeating over and over. "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out."
The subject of reincarnation has been one of debate for many centuries. If this little boy is to be believed, then the debate is over. Meet James, a young boy with a story that's nothing short of chilling. Despite his age, James would vividly describe the harrowing details of how his past life ended. A plane crash and being engulfed in flames. These memories were so vivid and traumatic that they haunted him deeply, leaving those around him with both fascinating and unsettled. Maybe the right word is trouble. Is this real? Could James's memories be proof of past lives and reincarnation, or is there another explanation? Stories like this open up a world of questions, inviting us to explore the boundaries of what we know about life, death, and consciousness. What do you think? Do you believe in past lives, or is this simply an unexplained phenomena? Have you ever explored this mysterious rabbit hole yourself?
One day, James and we were talking. I said, "I know you have those nightmares all the time. Who's the little man? Do you remember what your name was?" And he said, "James." And I said, "Do you remember what your last name was?" And he said, "Mm-mm."
Previously, we looked at footage of strange boom sounds heard by a resident in Idaho. Now we have another recording from a different man capturing these unsettling noises. Take a listen.
Well, that's strange. Most of these reports are coming from rural Idaho, and as you can tell, we're quite a ways out here.
These booms seem distant yet powerful, echoing across the area, yet the source remains unclear. The earlier resident mentioned that officials explained it as some sort of natural atmospheric phenomenon like skyquakes.
The local news ran a story and they said it was skyquakes. I've never heard of skyquakes before, but it has been happening in several small towns all through eastern Idaho.
However, even he expressed doubts, suggesting there's more to it than what we're being told. Could this be related to underground activity, secret military operations, or something entirely unexplained? I'll let you decide on that one.
Well, that's strange. Most of these reports are coming from rural Idaho, and as you can tell, we're quite a ways out here.
Next, we've got the blurry kind of clips we all don't like, but do pay attention. There's something rather interesting in this one. If you pay attention to the clip, you would see something or someone moving in the darkness. You don't need me to tell you that the movement patterns as well as the body of the individual being or whatever that is, isn't natural. Freaked out by what his camera had recorded, the one who uploaded this stated he thought it was either a nightcrawler or alien. Personally, I'd love it to be one of these things because I'm just waiting for that clip that would confirm their existence. As much as I would want this clip to be that clip, it's simply too blurry to authoritatively state that's the case. What do you guys think though? Do you think this is authentic? Are we actually dealing with extraterrestrials and otherworldlies? Share your thoughts in the comments section. This strange creature was spotted on the shores of China. It looks like a stick covered in tiny hairs and its form resembles a spider, except it has more than 8 legs. But this isn't just some sort of stick or debris, it appears to be alive. As the person behind the camera pokes it with a stick, the creature suddenly moves its legs, revealing a surprising level of life and activity. Yet despite its movements, it still looks oddly rigid and stiff. What kind of sea creature could this be? Could it be an unknown species or perhaps a bizarre mutation? Share your thoughts. Now, I'm not sure what this next one's about, but it's something to do with experiments and people are literally cutting themselves up to look cool and get more validation, aka dopamine from social media. What's that got to do with cutting yourself up?
In 1954, scientists placed a rat named Benny in a cage.
Hey, Benny.
In the center of the cage was a simple red button. If Benny pressed it, he got a small shock of pure pleasure to his brain. At first, Benny pressed it by accident, but soon he understood the transaction. Press button. Feel good. Press button. Feel good. It was the perfect life. The scientists then put food in the corner. They put a female rat in the other corner. They even opened the cage door to the outside world. Benny ignored the food. He ignored the female. He ignored the open door. Why would he struggle for those things when the button gave him the feeling of reward without the effort? Benny pressed the button 7,000 times per hour. He pressed it until his body collapsed from starvation. He died with his paw still resting on the switch. The scientists took notes and closed the file. But the experiment didn't end with Benny. It just got an upgrade. Look at the glowing rectangle in your hand. That isn't a phone. That is the button.
I left social media, as many of you know, and I hired a company to take care of it instead. And part of the reason was very much this. There's a book I recommended called Dopamine Nation. They're not paying me for this, by the way, but it's a great book for understanding the psychology of what happens to us as we become more and more hedonistic. We're heading towards kind of this high where we're all rushing towards dopamine. And there are things in life more conducive to getting dopamine than sex. like drugs, cocaine, alcohol, even your mobile phone releases this charge of dopamine, which dopamine is the happy drug. But this book explains how the more you pursue that happiness, the more depressed you become, because the same receptor that produces happiness also produces anxiety. And so the more you try to pursue it, the less happy you become, the more anxious you become. So this book offers something different. It says actually, instead of pursuing happiness, pursue pain. Because if you pursue pain, then you're going to be happy. If you go to the gym, you work out, you develop the disciplines of hunting, fishing, going outside, spending time with your kid, foreplay with your wife, as opposed to just pursuing sexual satisfaction at the end of it. Your dopamine goes up and your anxiety goes down.
Yeah, I agree with all of this. I'm not a big one for looking at my phone constantly. I'm not all that bothered about it. I like to get on to watch, to look at you guys and the things that you're saying. But I'm not a big one about phones. I've always been a great believer that if you want something bad enough, you should work for it. That's the pain-pleasure principle. Work your ass off, sweat, blood, and guts, and you'll feel so much better about yourself when you achieve the result. Phones and everything else these days, everybody's looking for instant fix of everything. This is why, everybody celebrates mediocrity so much these days. Everything is about the instant. And if you want something bad enough, you gotta work toward it. You gotta work. That's what I say anyway.
Press button. Feel good. Press button. Feel good. It was the perfect life. The scientists then put food in the corner. They put a female rat in the other corner. They even opened the cage door to the outside world. Benny ignored the food. He ignored the female. He ignored the open door. Why would he struggle for those things when the button gave him the feeling of reward without the effort?
That's the end of me for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Now, do me a favor, send us your videos, anything that you got. Send it to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll put it out there for you. And if you want, we'll even mention that you're the one who gave it to us. How does that sound? Pretty good, right? Okay, well, I've got to disappear anyway, so do me a favor, share this with as many people as you love, and I will see you in the next episode of Classified Captures. Steve out.